Alright, hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Welcome to the channel. I am here today to answer the most asked question amongst the community in the last couple of days since Sun WuKong has hit global servers. Who should I use my Soulstones on? My Kigiri or my Sun WuKong? I'm going to do my best to break this down for everybody. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Right, so I know this is a really complicated question, and it seems like it'd be really easy to just say, hey, you know, put it in this guy, put it in this guy. But these guys are so neck and neck that it's not quite that simple. I want to go over Kigiri first. I've covered his kit and how to use him and how to build him and all this good stuff through the roof. If you want to find out anything about Kigiri, just go into YouTube, type in Kigiri and Prospector and hit search, and you'll find all kinds of videos about Kigiri. But anyways, and Sun WuKong as well. I have a very good guide for him. I'll put them both in the description below. Now, on the Awaken level 1, when launching a basic attack, additionally restores 3% rage and 3% HP. This isn't really that big of a deal for Kigiri. It will help him with a little bit with his rage if you're having an issue with rage in your gear, especially on Semra if you want him to come back to his ultimate quite often. It might help with that a little bit. But as far as seeing a big increase in damage, you're probably not going to see it there. Awaken level 2 is plus 300 attack. This is onto your base attack. I always say not to underestimate this awakening. It could be 5% attack or plus 300 attack or whatever it is, but it will boost your damage more than you would think with that extra base attack. But it's nothing too crazy, just a slight increase in damage. Awakened level 3. This is where Kigiri kind of just blows up. Okay? So Awaken level 3, when within 10 seconds after a sleeping strike is activated, each direct damage dealt inflicts additional damage one time equal to 35% of the direct damage. Within 10 seconds after Ember Strike is activated, each direct damage dealt inflicts additional damage 2 times, each time equal to 25%. So it goes up to 50% from 35%. Now when either of these strikes triggers Swallow Counter, the corresponding effect of this strike becomes permanent. What is Swallow Counter? For that, we have to go back to his skills quick. I believe it's right here. When Sleeping Strike or Ember Strike end, there is a 25% chance to immediately launch an identical strike in the opposite direction. The strike cannot trigger this effect again. Okay, so when you trigger Swallow Counter, basically what's happening is Kigiri's going and doing his Sleeping or Embering Strike, and then Swallowing Counter means that when he comes back to his tile, he's going to hit them with that same attack again on the way back. It kind of doubles up his ultimate's damage. That's essentially what's happening there. Now, with Kigiri's A3, this is where his damage in Guild Boss 1 goes from 100 million up to 250 plus million. This is where his damage in Guild Boss 2 goes from like 700 million all the way up to a billion or higher. Typically right around a billion if you've got a really good run going on. This is his key awakening. This unlocks a lot of his damage. This was not buffed, it was working this way the whole time, they just didn't have it in the wording. Alright, Awakening level 4, penetration plus 8%. You're going to see a slight increase in damage, nothing too crazy, typically right around 5 to 10% increase in damage. Awaken level 5, when Sleeping Strike and Ember Strike launch during Tranquil Reflection will always trigger Swallow Counter. So that Swallow Counter I was just talking about, this is going to make it so that every time, it's not a chance anymore, it's consistent and it's going to happen every single time, essentially permanently increasing his ultimate's damage by 2. So, that is Kigiri's awakenings in a nutshell. Now, let's move on to Sun WuKong. Sun WuKong's awakening level 1, the first time splitting hairs is triggered in each battle, allies within 2 tiles gain Monkey Business, which is essentially a little bit unyielding. He dispels the debuffs off of them and restores 50% of their max HP. It can be useful. I'm not gonna lie, it can be a useful awakening, but you're not gonna see a big increase in his damage. It's more of a utility thing. You could possibly use it in Void Rift. You could use it in Guild versus Guild if you really plan on using Sun WuKong there. The Awakened one can really help you out. Now, Awakening level 2 is at plus 300 attack again. Same kind of value as it is with Kigiri. Awakening level 3, this is where Sun WuKong's stuns unlock. So if you are really into using him for these stuns, this is what you're going to need to unlock all those stuns coming into APOC 2 on Guild Boss 2. Now, Sage's Clones has a 25% chance to inflict stun when dealing damage to enemies. If the enemy is immune to stun when triggered, it instead deals an extra 150% damage one time. If the hero has Golden Glare, he will also gain 1 stack of Sunder. So it's going to increase his damage a little bit as well, especially if you're going against Guild Boss 1, you're going to see an increase in damage. Nothing wild, but it will be a definite increase in damage. He can't apply stuns to Guild Boss 1, so he's just going to be doing 150% damage every time he triggers a stun. Now in Guild Boss 2, this is where his Sage's Clones are going to start putting out those stuns. And with Sun WuKong, if you want to use those stuns for Guild Boss 2, you're going to need this. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting like 5 to 6, maybe 7 if possible. Typically 5 or so stuns out of Sun WuKong himself. Now Awaken level 4 is penetration plus 8%. This is going to be very similar to Kigiri. It's just going to increase his damage. You can get a little bump in damage on this. Awaken level 5, however, increases the damage instances of Splitting Hairs by 18. That's his ultimate. It's only doing 18 hits initially, so now you're just essentially doubling that up to 36 hits. And raises Undaunted Might's stack cap by 25. The stack cap that they're talking about increases the damage dealt to elites or bosses by 1% up to 5 stacks, so a total of 5%. This is going to increase that cap by 25. It's essentially giving him a 30% boost right off the bat, just like that. Now after using Splitting Hairs, Golden Cudgel Strike's trigger chance increases by 35% for 12 seconds. Doesn't really sound like a big deal, but it is. If you take him into Guild Boss 2, APOC 2 specifically, when you need a lot of those stuns on the Titan Saw, you trigger his ultimate right when the Titan Saw is going to start charging up, and this is how you get those 12 stacks. If you want the full stacks consistently, you need to unlock Awaken 5 Sun WuKong, and then you need to activate his ultimate right before that Death Saw comes up. And the Sage's Clones will, over time, get those 12 stuns up there and get those max stacks. Now, to break this down very simply, okay? If you have an Awaken 0 Sun WuKong and an Awaken 0 Kigiri, and you have 3 stones, and you wanted to do the biggest impact to your account that you possibly could, if you're looking for boss damage, and specifically, then you're going to want to awaken your Kigiri to Awaken level 3. If you're not really worried about the real long game and you want progress right now, that's going to be your #1 hit. To put it simply, Awaken 3 Kigiri beats A4 Sun WuKong. That is how crazy Kigiri is at Awaken 3. Now, let's say you have an A1 Kigiri and you have an A3 Sun WuKong, right? And you have 2 Soulstones that you can use. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. Those 2 Soulstones are going to be better used on Sun WuKong because A5 Sun WuKong beats out Kigiri almost entirely. It's a really close fight, but in the long run, Sun WuKong is going to be much more useful to you in most of the content in Watcher of Realms, and he's going to be a little easier to place down on the field in a lot of like Void Rift campaign, whatever you're doing that you're trying to beat and accomplish. And he's a little easier to use. You don't have to worry about triggering his ultimate at a certain time within 3 seconds of getting hit or anything like that. You just trigger it when he has Golden Glare. You can see it, it's really obvious. So in a nutshell, A3 Kigiri beats A4 WuKong. That means A0, A1, A2, A3, A4 Sun WuKong. A3 Kigiri is going to be your #1 pick for immediate results. A5 WuKong is going to beat out Kigiri in pretty much everything that he goes into. If you are particularly looking for stuns on APOC 2, you're going to want to awaken your Sun WuKong. Your A0 Kigiri can take care of getting those buffs off of there, still do a considerable amount of damage, and then your Sun WuKong can pick up most of the damage at A3 and then also take care of those stuns for you. Anyways guys, I hope this video summed this up good enough for you. I hope I answered all the questions that you could have had. This has been asked a million times in Discord, on Facebook. I've been seeing it all over the place. I thought I'd make a video just to address it directly. If you're still unsure, feel free to leave a comment down in this video. I will try to respond to them. But if you want a more direct answer, you can also join the Discord. Just post right in the general chat of which one you should awaken, and we'll try to answer you the best that we can. There's lots of people in there willing to help, and look forward to new users coming in to use the Discord server. Anyways guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck on your decision. Let me know what you do down in the comment section. And until next time, keep digging.